Hello, superhumans. Did you know you already possess extraordinary superhuman abilities, including the power to remote view and access hidden information? Well, you do, and these gifts are natural to all of us, but they're often clouded by trapped emotional energy, ancestral patterns, or energetic blocks. The clearer and more healed your energy field becomes, the stronger and clearer your abilities will begin to flow. And in these videos, we're trying to inspire you to awaken your own superhuman powers. And you can begin clearing your own energy blocks by either booking a private session with me or using the step-by-step multi-dimensional energy healing map, mdhmap.com, and those links will be in the description box below. For now, please know that all these things are available to beginners and even pros. So you don't have to be an expert. You already got this. Come along on this journey and leave us a comment. So if you will, let's get into it. All right. Hello, everybody. We are Christina and Sally, and we are a couple of QHHT practitioners doing associated remote view on Disclosure Day. And we have got some interesting things to share with you. But before we get started, we thought it would be interesting to remote view or associate remote view what caused Alexis Brooks from Higher Journeys to cry. So to give this some context, what we're referring to, I'm going to let this video play out for just a second, and then we'll stop it. We'll give you what we think is going on with what we tuned into and figured out. The link will be in the description box below, so you can watch the whole Higher Journeys. And anybody who's into woo, I recommend Higher Journeys with Alexis Brooks. She's amazing. So here we go.
Let me bring you into this because I think context does matter here. So a couple of weeks ago, I went to see Disclosure Day, Spielberg's new flick that, as many of you know, deals directly with the idea of ET contact and what that moment of open public disclosure might actually look like. Now, I went in as a researcher, someone who's been at this for years. I've spent years immersed in this subject. I thought I knew what I was walking into, and I thought I'd have a handle on whatever it was I'd be seeing. Well, I didn't. Not completely, at least. Somewhere toward the end of that film, as I mentioned in the open, tears started rolling down my face. And I want to be clear about something because this is the part that really got to me. The emotion and what I was intellectually watching weren't matching up, if that makes sense. My mind wasn't catching up to what my body was already doing. And so I looked around the theater to see if there was similar reaction from other people. Nobody near me was having the same reaction, including my husband. He was just kind of focused on the screen watching the movie. So what was up here? I did a little post about this right after I saw the movie, just putting it out there, wanting to know if anyone else had experienced something similar. And then I sat down with Daryl Anka last week for an interview, and I brought it up to him during the show. This is what he had to say. So when I texted you prior to your seeing the movie, I don't think I told you the visceral reaction that I had right around that time. Daryl, tears started rolling down my eyes. And I have to say to you, there was something different about those tears. The emotion or intellectually what I was watching wasn't matching the physical reaction that I was having. I looked around the theater, and you guys that are watching here, I did a little post on this because I wanted to get a sense of other people that may have had this reaction. Nobody in the theater that I could see was having the same reaction. My husband was just focused on the scene at hand. What was going on here? Is this something that us experiencers perhaps may have felt? Was there something embedded? What was going on with that?
Well, I had a similar reaction at the release of the information in the movie.
You know, it was actually a little surprising to me that Daryl even said he'd also had an emotional response. But after that conversation aired, something happened that I honestly, truly didn't expect, at least not at this scale. The comments started pouring in, over 500 of them. Actually,
Right. We'll go ahead and leave it at that. The link for the full video will be in the description box for people to watch. So it is interesting. You watched Disclosure Day, Christina. Can you tell us what your reaction was?
Yeah, toward the end of the movie, when they release all of the information and you just see image after image after image after image, and I don't know, I want to say also what they end up doing at the end. Do you think that won't bother too many people?
Right. Trigger warning. If you don't want to hear,
You don't want
turn it
to
off now.
turn it off if you don't want to hear. Spoiler. Sorry. But beyond the images, they also have they bring an off-worlder out. And he speaks, and one of the two experiencers in the movie interprets what he says.
Do you want to tell us what it says? Because probably by now people have watched it, that we're going to watch it.
Yeah, the movie ends with the one experiencer interpreting what he said, and the off-worlder said, "Listen." And that's how the movie ends.
It's actually a good message, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that whole scene where they're showing image after image after image, and you have this realization that you're part of something much larger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the associated remote view is really, really interesting because I have not seen the movie. I watched Higher Journeys, and when he tuned into Bashar and listened to that, I thought it was interesting. But I hadn't invested much energy into it. It was a month or so ago that I watched it, and then I sort of kind of like shelved it. We haven't done the associated remote view yet. Today was interesting because as I tuned into it, I felt like, some of the people say, okay, is this done for the best and highest good for mankind or not so much? Is it the white hats doing it or the black hats doing it? And what I got was interesting because it felt like both hands are in the pot.
Absolutely.
Both hands are in the pot. So it feels to me that Steven Spielberg's intention when he created this, from what I could tell, he was thinking from his perspective, he was doing the right thing. Now, I didn't tune in to find out if he has an inversion or any of that, but just to make this movie, from what I could tell, he was trying to do what was right for mankind to prepare us, right, to get to that point.
Right.
And so what was interesting is why were some people activated and some people not? Because Alexis talks about, she looked around in the movie theater and nobody was reacting to her tears. I mean, she was the only one who was brought to tears.
I felt the same way because I was kind of looking over. I was crying as well, and I looked over and I was looking around. I didn't notice anybody else really having the same reaction too. So
when you're a conspiracy theorist, and I get into the conspiracy theories because I want to know the truth and I'm not ashamed of it. You're not going to shut me down by saying shame on you. You're a conspiracy theorist. I will say, oh, conspiracy theory. Let's see if that's true or not. Right. I want to know. I'm a truth seeker. So I'm thinking, when people were bringing that up and people say, oh, well, it's embedding codes and something, I never got that. But what I did get, I think some people, I heard somebody once say, well, it's MK Ultra and all this. And I never got into that on this. I didn't get any of that. No. But what I do get is that there's a frequency, and it's a mild frequency embedded in the movie itself. And it's so gentle, but it will activate with people who are already higher sensitives. So for people who are, either in like a neutral or negative polarity. People with higher anxieties, fears, worries, and all that, they've got a thicker resistance energy to them. And so it can't really get through that barrier.
Right.
Those people who do a good job keeping, do the meditation, very honest with themselves, working on themselves to be in more positive polarity, the higher sensitives without the fear part of it, they're going to be triggered. They're going to feel something is there. And so it is activating an area of the brain that's already very strong in the intuitive. So she would say the experiencers, well, they don't have to be convinced that off-worlders exist. They don't have to get through that barrier. So they're going to respond more easily to the husband or the wife that gets dragged into the theater and said, okay, whatever, let's just do it. It's just our government with advanced technology, blah, 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 blah. And I think both. I don't think it's one or the other. I think our government and other governments actually have higher technology, probably based on off-worlder crashes that they've reverse engineered. That all feels very true.
Yeah.
Is there an agenda with aliens or off-worlders? Yeah, there's good guys and there's bad guys.
Yeah.
So you know what? And if you're living in this third dimensional living experience, you may have a mission to ascend, but you are here for the experience of the yin and the yang. And so and it doesn't just, end here on this planet. There are other beings out there that are going to have the best intention for humanity and those that don't. So when I say there are two hands in the pot, when I remote view this,
Right.
I feel like they're like, yeah, let's even go ahead and do that. And by the way, let's give them a few things that aren't true. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
So we can really trigger people.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when he's given all this information for this movie, I don't believe he could discern between what came from people who were trying to do this for the best of humanity,
Mhm.
or the ones that were like power hungry, dark hats, whatever you want to call them, the bad guys. So I do feel, and he didn't know. He's just like, here's the information. This all looks very legitimate to me.
Right.
Because they can make it look very legitimate. And then there you go. All right, now y'all getting ready. So that's how it all came into me. So now I'll be quiet because I'm curious what it all came into you.
I also got that Spielberg was doing it, what he thought was best for mankind. He doesn't have an agenda. But I think like when you were talking about, the information that he was given, what he was given, I think there's things in there, that are not correct and that are triggering and will kind of cause some people some discomfort. I think that's where you really have to sit with things and really think about them because, having seen the movie, I want to go see it again. I've only seen it once and I want to go see it again because I know there are things that I'm going to catch that I didn't see the first time. And a lot of what I want to look at is a lot of the images and feel whether they're real or not, that's where, because I just feel like some of the things that are in there are not real. And I think we need to be more discerning about that and know that there's things that are not real and that there are people that have a negative agenda with this too, because again, it's whoever controls the narrative is the winner.
Right.
So it's like you have to be mindful.
Yeah, and when people are building the fears, and I think when it says listen, I think that's a really good message because what you're listening to is listen to what people are saying. Are they articulating fearful things, or are they articulating hopeful things? So you don't have to be a psychic to figure that out. And what I would recommend is when people are, one, I would just shut off the news. But if you are a news watcher, listen to what each person is saying. If they are articulating something to be very afraid, this other person's going to do this horrible thing to you, or this event is going to cause this, or this other thing over here, be very afraid. If they are talking about what to be afraid of and what level that fear should be, you might want to take a deep breath and just say, is this in my best and highest good? And then feel your body.
Right.
Because
listen with your body. Listen with your body, because your body's not going to lie to you.
It is not going to lie to you. So when I do this work, and when you do this work, when we're tuning into those frequencies, because the brain is a receiver, right? And you get yourself, your own fears and noise settle down to a place where you don't have an invested outcome in the answer. And you just say, okay, is this something to worry about? Do I need to worry about this person? Is this person telling me the truth? And if you even get to that point, is this person telling me the truth, and your body tightens up? I mean, that's even if you're just talking to your spouse. Right? If your body feels tight, they're lying to you. The DNA, the evidence, the videos, no matter what's laid out there, the podcasters are saying, well, I don't believe what we're being told. And there's going to be that element in disclosure, especially.
Oh, yeah.
And if you already got your head wired into, the boogeyman, then anything that you feel in your body is already going to be wired to that answer, right? So I guess what I'm trying to say in a long way is that you cannot, when you do associated remote viewing, if you want to trust your gut, you really have to empty out your own emotions about what the answer is, and be very okay with if the answer's this or if the answer's that. And that's really the best way I can say to tune in. Did I leave anything out, or do you have any other advice for anybody?
No, I think you got it dead on. You want to, when you're trying to do this, you're sitting in neutrality, and you have to be okay, honestly, with whatever the answer is. Because how many times have we done this and we have an idea of where we think we're going?
Yeah, because we get so excited. It's like, oh, I know what the answer is. And then we're like, oh, that isn't bad. How could I get that wrong?
Right.
God, and we do this like every day.
Yeah, we do this all the time. And oh, wow, that was a letdown.
Yeah. Or sometimes it's more exciting. It's like, oh no, the story is a little bit more interesting than this, Yeah. So, but yeah, so if you guys really, don't take our word for it. Just, we really want you to sit with this information, feel your body, and leave us a comment. What do you feel? Right. Maybe we're wrong. But at the end of the day, I do feel it is a gentle message that's embedded in the movie to activate those who are fully ready to move on. It's a bit like the people, it's not that I don't want to say people are above them, because that's wrong. It's just where people are in their frequency. And if you've got a lot of fear energy, which is why we brought up the news analogy, if you've got a lot of fear, then you're not going to get those signals coming in. And it's just like in remote viewing. Anything that you do, if you've got some kind of a bias coming in, you can override it with your own biases. So that's why you got to get rid of this resistance energy. And it really does come down to non-resistance and resistance. The more resistant you are, the thicker that layer is, the less likely you're going to get accurate information when it does come in. And by the way, haven't we been spot on some of the stuff that we've been doing?
Yeah, we've been good.
Oh my gosh, I was just blown away with some of this stuff. So anyway, we're talking about the UK Prime Minister, we said it was going to be gone in June. He's gone in June. I was just like, that was blown away. Still not convinced that Charles isn't leaving. I still feel him leaving the throne. I don't know what that means.
Right.
But I do feel it's coming sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're going to end this video here. Thanks for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and leave us a comment. We want to know, what are you feeling?
Yeah.
Disclosure.
Disclosure.
Is it good? Is it bad? Is it in between? Let us know.
Yeah.
Or did you